right, we're here today with KEKOA Canullo. He is a purple belt at Sojourn Jiu-Jitsu. We're just gonna get to know him a little bit and talk about maybe his journey in Jiu-Jitsu, and he has a pretty good comp record, so we're gonna talk about that a little too. First question, always the same one for everybody.
Yeah.
How did you get started in Jiu-Jitsu?
So I was friends with Uncle Jason's son, and I would always stay at his house, and kind of would just like, we'd all go skate and stuff, but like kind of stopped surfing already. Like I used to surf growing up, and then it's kind of just in this weird spot where I like was skating, but I wasn't like, you know, I wasn't trying to take it to like a crazy level or anything. And then he was talking about opening up a school for a couple months, and pretty much right when he opened up, he was like, I don't have like the financial means to go train, because most gyms is like 200 plus a month, right?
It's money, it's bucks, yeah.
So he told me, he's like, just come train, and you know, just come train pretty much. Just as long as you dedicate yourself, then just come train for free. And then I would just stay after class, and we'd actually put all the mats away like right over there in the corner, and just so that was the everyday process. Show up early, help him set up the mats. After class, mop, and then put the mats away, and then try to catch a ride home with somebody or jump on the bus or something.
I like that attitude of like, I don't have the money right now.
Yeah.
Like, let me help out around the gym.
Yeah, for sure.
A lot of people, like, there's always some excuse, right? Sometimes like, oh, I'm not in shape, or oh, I don't have the money. It's like, the jiu-jitsu community is good. They're like, hey, you don't have the money, come down early, set up the mats, you know, clean up after class, and like get your reps in.
Yeah, because it's like, it feels better too, because then you know, okay, at least I'm not just taking, right? At least I'm doing something, even if it's just little things, like, you know, just little things after class. Everybody's tired after class, so nobody wants to put away. Especially these mats. These mats are a little heavy. I was like,
there's some weight to it.
I was like 115, maybe 120. I was like a foot shorter. I was just like struggling to carry the mats back. I was just like carrying a 12-foot surfboard, just put it on my shoulder and just go from there.
All right, so you recently got your purple belt.
Yeah.
How long have you been training?
So I started, I think it was January 2021. So like 3.5 years or so. Okay. Something like that. And in the past like 2 years, like we finally opened up and was able to like, so first it was only 2 classes a week, Tuesday, Thursday. First we started only no gi, and then we switched to only gi for a while. Okay. And then eventually we started doing Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I think. Or no, sorry, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Okay. And then I remember sometime after that, we just kind of went from like 3 classes to just, we opened up every day of the week, all at 12:30. And then we finally got like this space as our own. This used to be the boxing studio for Nitos. Okay. And then since then we've just had classes all day, so been able to train a lot more and actually like really try to progress, you know.
Your progression has been fast. I mean, purple belt, about 3 years.
Yeah, trying.
What do you attribute to getting so good so fast?
I feel like it's just like I don't know, some people, I feel like they have like the tunnel vision where it's like, you know, they're kind of looking at the end goal. For me, I feel like it's opposite. Like I just take it like just one day, like, okay, like say, I don't know, yesterday I got caught in like a heel hook or something. Like, okay, today I'm just gonna like put myself in bad spots and then like try to get out. But I feel like the main thing that helped me get better fast is just like asking questions, honestly. Just literally like get caught with something and be like, how'd you do that? Like Darce's triangles, I just remember being stuck in them and being like, this sucks, like I can't get out. And then I would just ask somebody and then they'd show me. It's like, oh, I'm gonna use that. So it's just, I feel like asking questions, honestly, and then just consistency.
Like getting rid of the ego just a little bit. Like, what did you do? I want to learn how to do that. Yeah. I think when it comes to really surfing, skating, we kind of understand like the failure isn't the failure. The failure is the learning. And you hear it in jiu-jitsu, but a lot of people don't have that like, hey, you know how to surf? Like try this top turn 1,000 times. And all the stuff you did wrong, don't do that anymore. But it applies to jiu-jitsu. So it's really cool to see that you've embraced that. Yeah,
it's funny you say that. I didn't really think about it like that, but that's true, because skating, it's like like most clips that you see in skate videos, it's like they fall like 100 times and then like they just get that one and like nobody even cares about the 100 times you fell. It almost makes it even better, like, you know, so that is true though. That's a good, I'm gonna start using that now.
Cool. You have some of the most exciting matches. You competed at some of the big local shows, so you did the Fight to Wins, you did the Submission Battlegrounds. I saw you at the Battleground, I saw you at a couple of the local tournaments. Right. What makes your style so exciting to watch and so dynamic?
I try to tell myself, just like, sometimes I get too timid, like especially when I first started, I used to just be so timid. Like I'd only think about what the other guy's gonna do. So I kind of just told myself like, okay, I started trusting my training partners and like trust that they're good. And then I just always tell myself like, I'd rather lose going for the submission the whole time than like stall it out, like save my energy, and then the last 2 minutes, like just go for it, you know? Like guys went off with 2 points and they're like freaking out thinking that they're like the best guy since Marcelo Garcia or something. Like, I don't know, I just try to, like you said, I just try to be exciting. I don't want people to like walk, like I don't, like when people are like, even at like fight twins and stuff, if they're walking by, like, and like you want them to look at your mat and like not want to look away, right? So
yeah,
I feel like that's the best way to do it. And like, just like even, I feel like everybody says this, everybody says they're inspired by the Rotolos, but like, it's true what they say, like the real, like there's a difference between the guys who play jiu-jitsu and the guys who like really do jiu-jitsu. Those guys are going for the kill the whole time. They're not playing for points. They're looking to get the sub the whole time, which I feel like should always be the goal, no matter like the rule set, which I think helps, because if you go into any rule set, confident you can sub somebody, points don't really matter, you know?
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
like,
for sure.
Just go for it.
Let's talk about, we had a conversation before the cameras got on.
Yeah.
But let's talk about lessons learned when you have a submission locked in.
Oh yeah. A couple of those.
Because you've had that happen to you. We had something locked in, and maybe you got a sound or a pop or a result or something that in class you're used to.
Right.
But in competition, the match doesn't stop until the match stops.
Yeah, exactly.
So let's talk through the scenario we were talking about before. And just kind of explain to everybody.
Okay, so I was at a blue belt comp. Me and this kid.
And you don't have to drop names if you don't want to.
Yeah, for sure. Me and this other kid, we went against each other once. It was pretty, I would say it was like pretty back and forth. I caught him in an armbar, and then I think I went against one other person, he went against one other person, and then they ended up having us go against each other again, and it was for money too. So it was like this Island Jiu-Jitsu West comping.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, I want the money, that's for sure. And then we ended up getting into like this leg entanglement against the wall. I went for a knee bar, and I went to extend and like hit my head on the back of the wall. I was like, okay, I can't extend on this. So I kind of switched to a toe hold. I tried to crank it first, and I was like, okay, this isn't on. And I went to crank it again, and I seen like kind of like this part of your ankle, like that fat part, it kind of like came out of the skin. I just like pop, and I was just like, never had that happen in a competition. And I like, my eyes, even in the video, I look back, my eyes go wide, and I kind of like let go of my grip, and I like put my hands on the mat, and he just cranks, and like not cranks, like not like, you know, not like anything like unsportsmanlike, but like goes for the knee bar, and it's like tight. I go to spin, we're against the wall, no excuses, it's tight, and I just had to tap. I was like, man. And I remember too, I like didn't think that, I almost regretted tapping, and then I would train that night, and then the next day I like couldn't even squat down. I was like, okay, maybe it was a good thing. You know? I'm not the biggest fan of tapping, but sometimes you just with the leg stuff, I know if I get injured, I'm not going to be able to train.
And when you're caught, you're caught. I mean, it's a sport where there's nobody or no one I can think of that's like, oh, I went undefeated. And you hear the guys, oh, I got to black belt and I never lost, or whatever it is.
For sure.
But those are the all-time greats.
Yeah,
and there's a long journey to even get to the list of like, I'm good or I'm professional. Like all-time greats kind of out there. It's some time to get there.
Yeah, I still don't feel like people will be like, oh, you know, like you got so good. I'm like, I don't know, honestly. I roll with some people, and I'm just like, man, I didn't have anything for that guy, you know, like. But I think that's like you said, it's like it's like surfing. Like you never can really like, you can learn all the moves, but you're never gonna like perfect it. Like, you know what I mean? There's always room for improvement. There's always a way you can surf better. There's always a way you can do jiu-jitsu better. Like, or you might find something new or just like a different approach. So it's cool for sure.
And jiu-jitsu is weird, right? Like you can show up to a gym, some guy you've never heard of, and he's tapping world champs. Like,
for sure.
Who is that guy?
Yeah, for
sure. And it happens more than you would think, right?
Yeah, for sure. It's just like no other sport. You're not gonna, we were talking about it before, you're not gonna go to the local pool and some guy's swimming faster than Michael Phelps, or like you're not gonna go to the basketball court and you're like, oh, that guy's like the next guy in the I forgot the name already. NBA.
Yeah.
Like, I don't watch any of the ball sports, but yeah, it's super trippy. It's like nothing like any other sport. You just run into like random guys who don't even really care that much. Like I know guys who like even at Island Jiu-Jitsu who like I was competing so serious. He would go and just like, oh, I'm just gonna have fun and submit everybody, and I'm over here like stressing out, like sweating, feel like I'm gonna throw up before my match. It's like we're at a local tournament in a high school gym. It's like, so yeah, it's pretty funny though.
It's not that serious, but it is.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because it's like. Yeah, it's pretty funny.
You've moved past some of the local tournaments. You've been competing on the mainland in the ADCCs.
Yeah, trying.
How has that transition been for you?
Not gonna lie, it's been a little rough. So I started off at the beginning of the year. Well, we were training for it since last year with like a solid group of people over at Island Jiu-Jitsu. We're training for West Coast trials, so we went and did that. And that was more so just to like, it was kind of like last minute almost. Like it was like a couple months out. We're like, you know, we're all like blue belts, so it's like
West Coast trials. Yeah, so any of the trials,
right? So when we're telling
the toughest tournament in the world.
Yeah, we're telling our coach, we're like, okay, like we want to do it. And at first, it's like kind of like everybody says they want to do something, but nobody's really sure if they're gonna do it. So we just kept training, and like once they could see that we were being serious, and we really took it serious, we went out there, and my whole goal was just honestly just to win a match, because I just hyped it up in my head to be this whole big thing. So got the first match done. got the guy in a triangle. Like we kind of got in some weird scramble off the mat and got the triangle, and I was almost like a little too hyped because I was like, oh wow, like, like I didn't expect to get like a submission first round, right?
Right.
But when you think about it, the bracket's so big, you're not always gonna run into some elite guy at the beginning. Right. No like offense to the guy I went against, but it's like you're not gonna run into like you might not always run into the top dog. So I kind of realized
it might not be Nicky Ryan, right?
Yeah, exactly. And then I ended up going to my second match.
I'm gonna pause you just for a second. For the people that don't know, trials is the one of the biggest tournaments in the world, and there's no belts. So like you can be a blue belt, you can be fighting a world-class black belt.
Yeah,
right?
for
That's
sure.
kind of how it works.
Yeah.
Okay, so sorry, just so everyone understands.
No, for sure.
All right, so match 2.
Yeah, so I went to my second match. I didn't know it, so me, my friend Raph, and my friend Marty. Raph and Marty are competing like over here on the opposite mat, and I'm all the way over here. So our coach is over here. He has 2 people to ref over here. So a couple of my other teammates came over. They coached my second match, and it actually ended up being somebody that my friend Raph beat at the East Coast Trials.
Okay.
Which I wish I would have knew before that. We ended up. I remember we started the match, and I was a little bit overconfident. I was like, oh, this guy's wrestling's not that good. I got kind of lazy. He ducked under me straight to mount. Straight to mount. I tried to spin at him. I landed in bottom mount. I was like, oh my God, I just started off my second match in mount.
You weren't in points yet.
Right, so no points. So that's why I remember telling myself, I was like, okay, there's no points yet, and I'm not going out that fast. So I just remember I got back. We ended up standing again. And I kept messing up, like, you know, like a single leg defense, you grab a front headlock and you throw him over.
Yep.
Normally you bring him over the same shoulder as the head that you have.
Yep.
I kept rolling over the wrong shoulder, so he'd come up before me during points period. He ended up winning on points. I kept going for submissions, but like didn't really get anything super tight. I went for a couple buggy chokes, but he would, just to like kind of get my guard back, he would always scramble, and then if he was body locking me, I'd kind of just throw it up and then he'd back out, and then I could kind of reset a little bit. But yeah, definitely, that was like first time having like a proper like scrap back and forth, and like I didn't know it was no excuses, but I didn't know it was slightly elevated.
Okay.
Oh, my lips were dry. I ended up getting staph actually, like this day, like it was like happening while I was like competing.
Oh my God.
It was definitely an interesting first, like I'd competed in the mainland before, but nothing like that. So it was like that was definitely interesting. But yeah, that was the start of the year, and then
you got a couple more in, right?
Yeah, so I went to Orlando. I went by myself, just like. The comp ended up being on my birthday, so I was like, okay, like if I want to do anything on my birthday, I want to go compete. So went to Orlando.
It's a good way to spend a birthday.
Yeah, right. And then so I flew out. It's hot as heck, like so hot, like it was ridiculous.
Summertime.
Yeah, luckily I had a hotel that was like a 5-minute walk just over a bridge, but even that walk was so hot. Ended up competing. First round, I got like some 10th planet brown belt guy. Really couldn't pull the trigger. I felt like the whole goal was being like aware for that comp, like aware of what's going on around me, like not getting that adrenaline rush and letting it take over. But ended up kind of getting to my passing positions, not really using them. And I went for like the worst leg drag ever, and he literally just sat up with the underhook and threw me over to side control. Got his 4 points. I ended up getting my guard back, gotten like a couple leg entanglements. He won on the 4 points. Second match was a little bit better, like was going for it more, but my passing just felt so off. Normally that's my strong suit. I feel like anytime you see me compete, like you probably see like I'm trying to stay on top and trying to pass. So my passing felt awkward. Luckily got a Darce. Last match had to eat some humble pie. I overextended on a couple collar ties. The guy ended up ducking under one of them, jumped on a head and arm choke. I went to spin with him, like totally spun the wrong way, like should have just gave up my back. And we ended up spinning to the mat, and I landed on top, but he still had the grip, so he swept me over with the butterfly hook just so easy, and just like as soon as he was squeezing, I was about to go out already. I was just like, I'm not going on the highlight reel. I'll go on the highlight reel tapping, but I'm not gonna go to sleep. He slept 2 guys, I guess, that day too. So
it is what it is.
Yeah,
right?
So it was a good learning experience. I guess he was a black belt, pro MMA fighter, so makes you feel a little better, but still was pretty disappointed because I know it's not the best guys, right? So, but definitely had to eat some humble pie, and then I went to Vegas recently. First match, tried to play more leg locks this tournament. First heel hook I got to work on my finishing mechanics because I popped his ankle.
Okay.
Once I heard his ankle pop, I was like, okay, this guy's not going to tap to like a limb probably. He's probably going to have to choke him.
Right.
We scrambled around a bunch. He ended up pretty much, I don't know why, he kept trying to pass with one arm in and one arm out. And I have really long legs, so I literally just shot my hips up, got a triangle.
You are tall for the weight class.
Yeah, for my weight class, I'm pretty tall. And then the last match felt good, hit a cartwheel pass, rushed on a couple darces, and then I got to a leg entanglement where he was reaping, and I don't know what I was thinking. I kind of went to clear my knee without pushing, and ended up getting heel hooked. I ended up backstepping for some reason.
Okay.
Right into a heel hook. Was so disappointed about that. I talked to my coach after. not Jason, but Raf's brother, Miguel, he helps me out a lot. He's been helping me out a lot the past like over a year or so, and he even told me, he's like, I've never seen you do that in training. I was like, trust me, I'm just as confused as you are.
It happens sometimes.
Yeah, so definitely been eating some humble pie this year, but that's kind of how it goes. I knew that stepping up to the mainland tournaments, the first year or so is going to be rough. Like, I'm going to have to adjust, but I'm willing to just go through it now. And then
it's a transition, and you're learning how to compete up there. You're learning the different styles, seeing it. What is some advice you would give to somebody that's getting into jiu-jitsu from Hawaii and wants to be a full-time competitor, professional? Because you're kind of already living that. You're on the short list of like the top young up-and-comers in Hawaii. You're on that list. What advice would you give to someone just starting out?
I'm not too sure, because I feel like I'm still pretty early in it. I still have like so much that I got to figure out still. I'm still trying to figure out how I can like train a lot. But I would say the main thing is just like willing to like go train when other people aren't going to go train. Like, you know, if your friends are going out on a Saturday night, like if there's comp class that night, which there is for us, like go train the comp class, right? If you want to compete, at least, if you want to be serious. If you're doing it for fun, like whatever, go out with your friends. But if you want to actually compete and stuff, I would say like just consistency. And then one thing I got to start doing is like other stuff, right? Like diet and like eat, like lifting. I hate lifting weights. People always ask me, why don't you lift weights? I'm like, weights are heavy. I don't want to lift weights.
I don't like doing it.
But,
I feel you on that.
I would say just like kind of just something I'm still learning to do, but just like be willing to make those sacrifices and just show up. And then if you get caught with something, like I'm still learning how to do it, even if it's by somebody who you feel like is not better than you, or you feel like they haven't been training as longer, just like be willing to ask them, okay, like how did I expose myself to that, right? Or if you don't know how to defend something, you keep getting caught in it, like don't like be silent about it, right? Like go ask somebody who you know is like proficient in whatever that is. So I would say just those three things: consistency, and then sacrifice, and ask questions.
I think questions is so important. Like I may be better than you in all these areas, but you're better than me. I'm gonna steal that skill from you.
Exactly. I think a lot of people too, they're kind of afraid to train with each other because we all compete against each other here, but the goal shouldn't be to be better than everybody here. The goal should be to go to the mainland and we should all be smoking everybody over there. I feel like, you know what I mean? Like
I think that attitude is really becoming prevalent in Hawaii. And it's really nice to see. We gotta get the top guys together. We gotta pick each other's brains. We gotta steal everyone's skills, so when we go up there, Team Hawaii does well.
Exactly. Like I feel like it'd be nice if we had like an actual like one school where it wasn't like a specific owner, or even just a place. Like it doesn't have to be a school, but just a place where like everybody who wants to compete, they can just meet up and like drill for the first hour and just like talk about techniques, right? And then get some rounds in, of course, but then just kind of bounce ideas off each other. So it's like, right? Because for me right now, I've been like thinking about like, okay, should I move to the mainland? Like what should I do? Because at the end of the day, like you can only be as good as all the people around you, right? So like in order, like I love my gym and I love everybody I train with, but in order to like compete with all the best guys, you got to surround yourself with guys who have that same mindset, who want to compete, they want to go compete at a high level, right? You're not going to go roll with somebody who is working a 9 to 5 and try to kill them, because you have an ADCC open next week, right? It's like, you want to go find somebody who's like, you know, like you're around your age, athletic, like who's willing to like kind of scrap back and forth, but there's also like a respect and it's like technical, which is hard to find. Some guys are just like,
it's hard to find.
They're either like really scrappy or technical and not that scrappy. So it's kind of hard to find those guys that have a little bit of both. But
well, I really appreciate your time.
Thank you.
We're gonna start wrapping this up. Is there anyone you want to shout out? Maybe how we follow you on Instagram or whatever you got, things like that.
Shout out Sojourn Jiu-Jitsu.
All right.
Shout out Uncle Jason for getting me into training, right? Without him, I don't know what I'd be doing. I was just thinking about that last night. I don't know what I'd be doing if I wasn't doing jiu-jitsu, honestly.
Well, I'm glad he pushed you into it because you're very excited to watch.
Thank you, but yep, shout out to Sojourn Jiu-Jitsu, shout out Island Jiu-Jitsu. Shout out for everybody I train with. Anybody who ever drilled at me, rolled at me. Everybody, honestly, it just takes a village to get better, right? So, yep, shout out to you.
Thank you for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you.